Traders, don't focus on what you think the market should be doing. Focus and accept what markets are doing. And we'll go to the charts to look at gold and Ethereum. Let's go to the charts for this week's NinjaTrader Charting Edge. Got gold futures up here on the daily. A lot of talk about gold this week with this really sharp move to the downside, so we're going to talk about that. Same old on the charts. 20 period, 3 standard deviation Bollinger Bands, 2 moving averages, 10-day simple moving average in the red. Gold is the 20-day simple moving average. Now, I got to take you back to what I talked about with gold a few weeks ago. I talked about how I had been long gold for a period of time when it crossed back above the 10-day moving average. Bollinger Bands were coming in, held above the 10-day, got long. Talked about how we failed to hold the 20-day, got out of a majority of my position, left a trailer stop in gold, said if it took out that low, I'd be out. Got stopped out, and something very interesting happened. You guys know I always talk about using the Bollinger Band peaks for support and resistance. Well, gold had that sharp move on that Sunday night open and went right down to what? That previous gold Bollinger Band peak. Has since come up. What I really like about what I'm seeing right now in gold is that when we spike like that and the Bollinger Band is still going down, but it didn't take out that previous peak. So we had lower lows, far lower lows than we had here, but not lower Bollinger Bands. And now the market's starting to stabilize. Gold is back right around 1750-ish. Now I have an area to play off of. I like this low. Once I see these Bollinger Bands start to come back in and we potentially regain the 10-day moving average, if that happens, that to me is a long setup that I'll be looking for. Similar to what I thought in the past, probably going to be a choppy, bumpy road, but if we start to get back up these 10 and 20-day moving averages, I'll look to see if it can start to hug that top Bollinger Band. I've talked about this many times before, looking for something like this, holding above the 10 and 20-day moving averages, and watch those Bollinger Bands start to grind higher with the market. That's this week's NinjaTrader Charting Edge. The other day I put a tweet out. I don't get caught up with what markets should be doing. I just accept them for what they are doing. Let's go back to that gold chart. Now, I talked about how I can't be focused on what I think a market should be doing. I talked about in the NinjaTrader Charting Edge that I was long gold and got stopped out. Obviously, I thought that gold should be rallying. That didn't happen. Gold had that big spike lower, got me stopped out of my trailer, and what do I have to do about that now? I have to accept the market for what it is doing. I talk about environment all the time. Gold has been choppy. Gold has had rips like this before. Maybe not quite as sharp like this recent one, but look in the past, look at what it's been doing. It's frustrating longs. That doesn't mean that I'm gonna stop looking to buy gold on dips. I have to wait for what? The market to prove to me. I have to accept the market for what it is. And if it's choppy and I wanna be long, what do I have to do? Adjust my execution. First, I have to let the market prove to me that it's a good long setup, wait for the Bollinger Band start to come back in, hold back above the 10-day moving average, get back in, and what did I talk about in some of the previous episodes? Get as small as fast as I can and leave my small trailer position because what? Gold is choppy and things like this may happen. Let's take a look at Ethereum. Here we are at the ETH chart. Now, last week I talked about how 3,300 was going to be resistance for me in ETH, and that's where I looked to take off a portion of my long position. Well, here we are sitting at 3,200, and look at the ETH chart. What do I talk about each and every week? I love markets that are hugging the 10-day moving average and holding up near that top Bollinger Band with a smooth Bollinger Band. Here we are in ETH, 3,300. I've taken some of my position off, but now I'm faced with this question. Is ETH set to continue to go higher? I think that the market should start to stall here and potentially pull back. Similar to what we saw in gold, how we saw that spike down the previous peak in the Bollinger Bands. Those have been typically good areas for me to see reversals in the market, at least revert back into trend. And that's kind of what I was hoping for here in ETH as I took off some of my position. But now that I took some of it off, I've got this look that's very similar to here. And what did I say in that tweet? It's not about what I think the market should be doing. It's about what the market is doing. So now I'm faced with this decision. Do I get back into a full position in ETH? What do I do? The market is telling me that it could be set up for a move just like that. So now I have to sit back and wait, be patient, and see what it does at the 10-day moving average. I may not have an opportunity to get back into some of the ETH that I sold because it's just grinding higher, but I have to be patient. I have to wait for things to get set up. But once again, we have to follow our strategies. Just because I think that ETH should be stopping at 32, 3,300, which currently at this point, it's not over yet, but it's really showing me that it looks like it's going to continue to grind higher. I still have to follow my strategy, and I have to be patient. If the look changes and the market suddenly tells me this is what it wants to do, I still have to wait for my setup to get back in. Hang tight, I'll be right back with my final thoughts.
Why did I add futures to my trading strategy? 24/7 access to diverse global markets, like wheat. Can you say growth opportunity?
We should probably harvest that.
Final thoughts for today, traders. This was my most popular tweet over the past week. I remember being frustrated around my dad and saying, I love trading, but it seems impossible. I keep losing. He said, if you love it, son, figure it out. As a competitor, I took that to heart and I fought to get better. Trading is always about figuring it out. You have to want it. I was thinking back to when I had that conversation with my dad. I was looking at a bunch of things on Twitter and I was seeing some people really talking about how difficult trading is. Yes, it's difficult. That's why I say trading is a journey of oneself. It's a constant evolution. We're constantly working on our edge, hence develop your edge. I do every single week on things I'm working on to get better, but you have to want it. And there is no time in your career where you'll just figure it out. I'm 22 plus years into this, and I still look at myself as a student each and every day. You have to want it. There is no such thing as figuring it out. Keep going at it. Remember, traders, micro treasury futures are coming to CME on August 16th. To learn more, go to activetrader.cmegroup.com. Now, if you're enjoying Develop Your Edge, give me the thumbs up. If you're not, give me the thumbs down and tell me why in the comments. If you're enjoying all my shows on YouTube, click that subscribe button. You can also DM me on Twitter at Anthony Crudele. Don't forget to check out Instagram, Anthony C. Crudele. That's a wrap for today. See you next week.